Beirut, boom goes the dynamite and everything else. August 4th, 2020. Beirut, Lebanon. A day that started like any other, with the sun shining brightly over the Mediterranean city. A picturesque Tuesday, right? Wrong. The calm before the storm, as they say. Picture this. A massive explosion rocks the port, sending a mushroom cloud towering over the city. It was a sight that no one could have ever imagined. We're not talking Michael Bay levels of explosion here, folks. This was worse. This was real life, and it was devastating. Buildings crumbled, windows shattered miles away, and the shockwave felt like a donkey kick to the chest, for those within 100 miles, that is. The sheer force of the blast was unimaginable. The world watched in horror as the aftermath unfolded, a scene straight out of a disaster movie, only this wasn't fiction. It was a nightmare come to life. It was the kind of chaos that makes you check your calendar twice to make sure it's not actually the apocalypse. People were running, screaming, trying to make sense of the madness. Good news, at least it wasn't the apocalypse. The city would eventually begin to recover, but the scars would remain. Bad news, it was the Lebanese government's questionable storage practices catching up with them. Years of negligence and corruption had led to this catastrophic event. More on that later, though. The investigation would reveal shocking details about the storage of ammonium nitrate at the port. First, let's delve into the explosive nitty-gritty of what turned Beirut into Bayrouting, the story of how a city was brought to its knees in a matter of seconds. The nitty-gritty, so what actually blew up? Okay, picture this. 2,750 tons of ammonium nitrate just chilling in a warehouse at the port. That's a lot of explosive material just sitting there, waiting for something to happen. Think of it like that friend who borrows your stuff and never returns it. Except this friend is the Lebanese government, and the stuff is basically explosive fertilizer. It's been sitting there for years, ignored and forgotten. Now, ammonium nitrate is a fickle beast. Treat it right and it helps your crops grow big and strong. Farmers love it for its ability to boost agricultural yields. Treat it like a college student treats ramen noodles with reckless abandon, and well, you get the Beirut blast. It's like leaving a pot on the stove and forgetting about it until the smoke alarm goes off. The precise trigger, still a bit of a mystery, folks. Investigators are piecing together the puzzle, but it's a complex one. Some say it was a fire, a small blaze that got out of control. Some blame fireworks, because what's a good explosion without some pre-show entertainment? The warehouse reportedly had fireworks stored nearby, adding fuel to the fire. Whatever the spark, the result was the same. A detonation so powerful it registered on seismographs worldwide. It was like a mini-earthquake, shaking the ground and shattering windows miles away. It was like the earth itself went, dude. Lebanon, what the hell was that? The blast left a crater, destroyed buildings and changed lives forever. The city is still reeling from the impact, and the world is watching, hoping for answers. Casualties of the kaboom, a city reeling. The human cost? Heartbreaking. The city is in shock, trying to come to terms with the magnitude of the disaster. Over 200 souls lost, thousands injured, families torn apart, lives shattered in an instant. Hospitals already stretched thin, overflowed with the wounded. Medical staff worked around the clock, their faces etched with exhaustion and determination. Remember those shattered windows we mentioned? They were everywhere, a grim reminder of the explosion's reach. Yeah, they added insult to injury, literally. People were not just dealing with the trauma, but also the physical pain of glass cuts. People were getting stitched up with shards of their own homes, sticking out of them. The very walls that were supposed to protect them became weapons. It wasn't just the immediate carnage either. The long-term impact is just as devastating. The blast displaced hundreds of thousands, leaving them homeless in a city already grappling with an economic crisis. Families huddled in makeshift shelters, uncertain of their future. Imagine losing everything you own because your government decided to play a real-life game of how much ammonium nitrate can we ignore before it explodes. The frustration and anger are palpable. Not funny, Lebanon, not funny at all. The people demand answers, accountability, and most importantly, change.